How you going, guys? Welcome to another episode of the FairDinkum podcast. So this week's episode is not in the studio, it's only the intro, obviously. And this is because Ahmed and I got the chance to go to Adelaide for a few days and do some podcast recordings. So this week's episode is with Daniel Scali. He's a current Guinness World Record holder for the longest plank. He broke down his story in today's episode, starting from an unfortunate incident in his childhood that gave him chronic pain that he lives with, which is called CRPS, that he'll explain more in the episode. This obviously didn't stop him in his fitness journey and going on to achieve this Guinness World Record and also attempting other Guinness World Records, which he'll explain. Very inspirational guy, top guy to hang out with. Honestly, we appreciate him making the time for us. You guys will all enjoy this episode, I guarantee you.
But anything I put in my body would come straight out.
Yeah.
And this was like, now because of that, I couldn't put a lot of pressure on my core, okay? So whether it was bad training in the sense of my lower body was a little bit higher up, or I did that to sort of protect my core.
Yeah.
I got 9 hours and 15 minutes or 11 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, people cheering, I made it, I can't believe this has happened, especially the last 2 days I've had, for the Guinness World Record to come back to me and tell me that I failed.
Yeah, oh my God. All right, Daniel, thank you for coming on.
That's
Appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you for having me
First of
on.
all, I'd like to thank you for letting us use your workplace. Appreciate it. It's pretty rare. I think it could be like the first or second time that we got the opportunity to do it at a different place. So appreciate
it's pretty convenient that you guys are down in Adelaide, so
we're not here for long, so it's good. So what we usually do, we do icebreaker questions just to make the guests feel comfortable in them. So it's going to be about fitness, and this will kind of see what type of fitness person you are. If you could train with anyone in the world right now, a gym session, doesn't matter what gym session, up to you, who would it be and why?
For the first one to come to mind, I think it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, but back in his heyday. I think, like, I've always been into the gym and fitness and all that sort of stuff just from a young age, starting off in martial arts and then introducing myself into the actual weight side of it. But, growing up as a young male going into, adolescent sort of thing, Arnold Schwarzenegger's always just been an idol. An idol. And how he looks, his physique and his mentality of, staying fit, being fit. I don't necessarily love his physique is in that sort of size, but just his determination. His reason behind training. It's amazing that he said he's not self-made. All the people that have helped him along the way to get to where he is, or his records that he's got, and all that sort of stuff. That I really relate to.
I'm surprised you said you didn't like his size, because a lot of people actually do like that and they aspire for that.
Well, that's everyone's entitled to what they like, I suppose, and that's what they think. But I think his physique's amazing, but it's just not something that I want to have. To me, it's just too much. It's just too much. But then again, if you could have that, and my body type was that, I'll try to probably go for that. I just know what my body type is, and for me to have that, I think it'd be too much.
I'll be the exact same. Okay. All right, so we'll get things kicking off. So let's start with the early years and how fitness even developed, and where did it all start from?
So I can thank my parents for that. From the age of maybe 6, I started off in martial arts with the local academy down on Grange Road through ICMA. And from martial arts, I went to a little bit of boxing and stick fighting. And that's probably where I started to get my foot in the door in fitness and and discipline. I've always enjoyed being fit and staying fit and keeping a healthy mind and body. It wasn't until I suffered a condition in my left arm is where I realised that fitness was a real important factor to staying mentally fit.
So how did this come about? Sorry, I have to ask exactly what the condition is and how it even came about. Were you born with it? Or
no, so I fell off a trampoline when I was 12 years old, and I had a severe break on my forearm. So virtually my hand was pushed back to my elbow and my shoulder. So it's just a complete flip back. Obviously as you're a teenager, everyone has broken bones and all that sort of stuff. Went to hospital. They put a couple of pins in my bones to make them strong. Within a couple of months, I still had quite bad pain where I couldn't move my fingers, couldn't move my elbow, my hand was swollen. They thought my muscles were dying in my left arm. So they readmitted me back into hospital, and that's when they formally diagnosed me with complex regional pain syndrome, which is virtually a nerve damage in my left arm.
And do you remember how that was mentally on you as a 12-year-old, or was it?
It's very faint what I do remember, but when I was 12, I think I was a little bit more shocked and more like, I was in and out of hospital trying to deal with it. But it's as I went through my adolescence years, because I've grown up with this now, it was probably harder to really fathom when I was 14, 15, 16, because I'm more aware of it. I wasn't able to do things at school. I was missing a lot of school, missing a lot of time with family and friends. Like I was in a lot of pain. There'll be times I wouldn't be going to school because of just the pain in my arm, and I didn't understand why, and that was really frustrating.
Oh wow!
And that's the thing. You hear people, or you hear normal people breaking a bone, and them just getting a cast, getting signatures on it, and within 6 weeks they're back at it playing soccer or footy. I had a cast and all that sort of stuff, but I still had to always wear a tubie grip. I still had to have my arm in a sling. I couldn't stand having my arm in water. It would feel like razor blades scratching it.
So what about showering and all that?
Showering, I still to this day, I stick my body in my shower. Fortunately for me, my door's on my left-hand side with a little handle there, and I rest my hand on the handle and I wash around my body.
That's very interesting. I didn't even know there's certain things that happen to people like this.
So what it virtually is my nerves confused about what pain is. So anything like soft touch, wind, movement, it's all normal sensitivities that your body knows about. But for instance, with my left arm, my brain thinks that wind or water or touch is pain. So it'll send a pain signal to that area to say, stop doing what you're doing, and then just let it heal. So if I get water on there, it feels like razor blades are literally scratching it, and you scream at me to stop it. Even though there's nothing wrong with water.
Okay, so is that why you wear the compression band?
I wear the compression band to stop it with. So I prefer my arm being gripped and grabbed opposed to soft wind, and also a little bit of deterrent for people not to touch it.
Interesting. And this is something you have to train with as well, and
I do
the whole day, every day.
It's like underwear.
Just a must these days.
It's just one of those things where I just wear it. I wear it. And I've been doing that for the last 17 years. So, underneath here, my arm is just white and just full of hair because it hasn't seen sunlight for 17 years.
Oh my God. So let's picture this. 12 years old, you've been training, boxing, you said martial arts and stuff. How did that flip the switch with anything about fitness? Did you take a break for a year?
I would have, from memory, I would have pulled back. I would have pulled back on that, not been able to use my arm correctly. I know I had an amazing instructor at ICMA, and he was sort of a mentor to me to get me back into at least the fitness side of it. I was only a few years into martial arts anyway, but just this to do forms again, being able to move my left arm within pain but manage my pain, being able to do push-ups again, being able to do normal activities with my left arm but admitting or accepting that the pain is there, but just still trying to push through it without having a relapse or have to go back into hospital for it. So it almost like my doctors or my physios would tell me the only way to fix this condition, because it was not as common as what it is now, is to reprogram the nerves. Obviously there's medications and nerve blocks that I have along the way, but I have to reteach my nerves on moving my arm or the wind or water is all normal things to do. So you have to teach your nerves that it's okay.
It's like you're starting again pretty much.
On my left arm.
Wow, that can be very humbling,
It was. And I'm fortunate enough where I can move my fingers, my hands. Other CRPS sufferers, it's called the mummy hand, where because they don't utilize the hand or their shoulders or their elbow, it becomes stiff and it becomes like a mummy where the hand or it stays like that.
Wow.
And I've actually met these people and, I've got it bad, but there's people out there that have got it worse.
Yeah, I think once you put things into perspective, you can always find something you can be grateful for.
That's exactly right.
So that's always the way to go about it and keep that shift.
Yeah.
So so you were training, obviously fitness, getting back into it with the rehab and getting back to square one.
Yeah.
Where did it come about with pushing yourself to the next level? Because I know a lot of people, they do train, but then it's just just enough for your lifestyle. But then you've taken it to the next level.
Well, I've always, growing up with pain always gave me a bit more of a pain threshold. Okay, I've known what I can have and what I can do.
Yeah.
When I was in hospital for my relapse, because it's on the height of CRPS. So the way to explain CRPS and the pain index, on the Middle pain index, 0 is no pain, 50 is the worst pain in the world. Okay. Yeah. The childbirth is rated 40 out of 50. So you can see females screaming of childbirth. Yeah. CRPS at its height of the worst is 42 out of 50. So when it was at its height, I had to be admitted into hospital because they had to literally sedate me to calm me down because you're just screaming of agonizing pain. So when I did come out of that eventually through nerve blocks and treatments, I did have that little bit more of a pain threshold that I could push myself a little bit further.
Yeah.
And I'll never be training for anything. Like obviously any sort of contact sports, like I'll still do a bit of martial arts, non-contact, a little bit of boxing, bag work or boxing. I wouldn't be able to do any stick fighting because of the contact side of it. But I would be able to do the extra round. I would be able to push myself that little bit more just because of that pain tolerance that I've had. And that's, I suppose, 16 years later, when I did begin to start the plank, I realised that, planking is painful when it's tough and all the rest of it on your mind and your body, but I've been in a worse case with CRPS.
Yeah, so once you start to realise like certain situations you've been in, it's like once you get back to the training, it's like it's actually not that hard.
It's not that bad.
I can push through it.
Exactly. I've been worse. And it also reminds me where you're not going to die. You're not going to, it's not, no matter how hard you train or how hard you can push yourself to vomit, you're still not going to die. You can still go that little bit further. End of the day, that session, which is an hour or an hour and a half, some people might train for 2 hours. After that, you're still going to go home, you're going to eat, you're going to go to bed, and the new day's going to start tomorrow. It's just having that mindset to say
100%.
that.
Yeah, because a lot of people, like when they do go to the gym, I may even have fault for sometimes where it's like you think you're going to pull an injury because of how hard you're pushing, but it's just you've never actually taken your mind to that and body to that.
Exactly right, exactly. And like, don't get me wrong, there's sometimes when you might do something incorrect and you might sprain yourself, you have to take it easy. But, by going for that run, I'm thinking of like an endurance thing where you feel like you can't go no more and you're breathing, you're puffing and all the rest of it. I can guarantee you, if you pick a spot and the road, like that tree, you'll get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you will get there, even though you're that buggered and you can't feel like you can't go anymore.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
So in terms of like pushing yourself, was this all like self-testing, or did you have like a PT?
Nah, it's all done through myself.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to have my instructor through ICMA, but it got to a point where when I did sort of finish off the martial arts side of it and go more into the gym side of it, I knew I had only a certain time limit because I'll train during my lunch hours.
Yeah.
So I'd work, have a quick bite to eat, and go and train for half an hour to 45 minutes. And in that half an hour to 45 minutes, I'll do a full session, and I'll be pouring a sweat, and I'll go back to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like, I knew what I had to do in that time zone, make sure I got it done, and then go back.
So you highly recommend the 30-minute, 45-minute session?
No more than that. That's perfect.
Because a lot of people,
You're wasting your time.
like we think that we're wasting our time. We're not going to get everything done. You might as well not do it if it's not an hour.
No.
So you think you can fit everything in?
If you can train for half an hour, you've done your session.
Yeah.
But you got to realise that half an hour is going to be double the intensity of what it's meant to be. So if you want to do an hour session in half an hour, there's no reason why you can't. Might not be able to go as heavy, but then again, just don't go heavy. You know what I mean? Like instead of lifting 90 kilos, lift 85 or something like that.
I think we get so stuck in our ways with certain ways of working out where it's like, this is the only way I'm going to do it. If I can't do it, there's no session.
Yeah. I value time.
Yeah.
When you value your time, you realise you can do things a lot faster than what would happen otherwise.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're at the stage where you started to consider the Guinness World Record of longest plank. Yeah. I don't even know where this idea could even come about, where you can actually believe in yourself to actually consider it or even attempt it. Where did this come about, the idea?
I was going in the heart of COVID, Adelaide, or I suppose Australia, we were really shut down in the sense of gyms and all the rest of it. So I was fortunate enough to have a small home gym at home. Okay. So myself and a couple of other friends would come to my house after work or maybe before work or on a weekend and do a small circuit. And at the end of the circuit, we'd say, let's do a 2-minute plank. And I remember being at the front of my parents' house after the 45-minute circuit, we're going to do a 2-minute plank. And I remember shaking like you're just violently shaking sort of thing, counting down from the last 10 seconds, and 10 seconds you drop. And that was with 2 minutes. And then it started again the next session. Instead of doing 2 minutes, we jumped it up to 5 minutes. Yeah. And eventually it sort of built up enough. I think when I hit maybe 15 or 20 minutes, it just sort of hit me saying, let's just go for the world record. Let's find out what the record is.
15 minutes to 8 hours.
Literally.
Okay. Did you know anyone, or did you meet anyone that at least attempted or have an idea of training?
No.
So how did you prepare for it in terms of?
I knew that obviously my training I knew was intense enough where I think I would have thought that the intensity of my training was enough. Going to the gym, doing a lot of cardio, doing a lot of sprints. So I knew I was sort of fit in that sort of sense, but I had no idea what other muscles would fail when I do a plank. Because obviously a 5-minute plank is totally different to a 20-minute plank, and a 20-minute plank is different to an hour plank. Yeah. Because it's like your muscles burn out.
Yeah.
I did reach out to people, as in like endurance coaches to say, hey, can you help me out? And every single one of them said, A, you're crazy, or B, we're not used to training planks. You know, like we know if you want to do swimming, we can help you. If you want to do runs, we can help you. If you want to do bike riding, we can help you. But with planks, we don't know what you need. You know, and I was sort of grateful for that because I didn't waste my money and like coming trying to take me for a swirl. I did know that I did need a mind coach, a mind coach. So I reached out, fortunate enough to have someone local, Michael Giovanni from Living Your Power Now, and not for anything, but to keep me accountable.
Yes.
Keep me accountable, accountability. You know, like he'd give me little tools, little tricks, help me meditate, but it's just accountability to say I've got someone to own up to. Did you do your hour plank today?
Yeah, and I think we undervalue how important that is.
People, we're lazy. You know, humans are lazy. You want to take the easy way out. I mean, we've all been there where if you miss a gym session, I can guarantee you just say you make it up tomorrow. You're not going to do 2 gym sessions in a day. You're not going to go in the morning to make up the one yesterday and then go again in the afternoon, in the noon to make up the one today. You know, you're just going to miss it. You're just going to miss it. You know, our mind's going to take the easy way out. So if you have someone that's on your back and making you accountable, I can guarantee if it's 9 o'clock at night, you've still got another 3 hours, you know, till the end of the night, you're going to get that session done.
100%. And I think that's also in other aspects, not just fitness.
Everything.
I think business, studying as well. Like we don't realize how important it is even to just speak to someone and get them to at least keep you on track.
Yes. And you'd be so surprised of how many people want to help, you know, when they're willing to help. You know what I mean? You might have some people that just don't want to or don't know how to, and you're fortunate enough for them to tell you up front. But when you find someone, you connect with them, mate, you can do wonders.
So let's get this straight. Did anyone believe in you when you said you were going to do the plank?
I kept a lot of it to myself.
Okay.
I kept a lot of it to myself because I didn't want negative doubts to come to me. You know, because obviously I know if I tell someone I'm going to go for a 9-hour plank, I never actually told them my goal. So my goal was always 9 hours.
Okay.
I'd always said to them I'm going to go and try and attempt to break the plank, which was 8 hours and 15. I told my close family and my inner circle friends sort of thing, and it wasn't until maybe 3 months in where I posted on my socials to say, hey, join me on my attempt to break my journey. I had a lot of well wishes, but I also know I had a lot of people say,
so you're right.
Yeah. But I never listened to them. I never let their opinion come to me.
And I like how you kind of waited for that moment to tell the world or the public eye, and just because you wanted to build that self-belief and also the training.
Exactly right. You know, doubt's like cancer. As soon as you get that doubt in you, especially as you're climbing that ladder, it's going to just attack you. So I wanted to be confident. Okay, I can confidently do an hour plank. I know the average plank is 2.5 to 5 minutes, so I'm confident that I can do an hour at least. Let's go for the hour and a half. You know, let's go for that 2 hours.
I still can't fathom how you're saying 1 hour and a half. It doesn't make sense to me. I need to attempt this after today's podcast.
We can do a little plank after.
I'm going to get embarrassed. But so how did it work out with the recovery? Because actually, let's start with, how many sessions you're doing, because I'm assuming you might have to do it more than one day, would you say, or no?
So it was intense in the sense of I knew I had to build up every single week, because I wanted to do this. So my first objective was I started planking on January 28th. And on last 2020, 2021. I wanted to have the plank done by December 20th. So I don't know why, but I wanted to give myself about 12 months to train through and build myself up. And it wasn't until a friend of mine came up to me and said, Daniel, you're going to get over it. You're going to get bored. You probably, you can probably get this done in 6 months. And I brought it up to June 16th. So I brought it back to June 16th. And I knew I had to really lift my training up. So I started off doing half-an-hour planks a night. And then the next week I went to 45-minute planks a night. Eventually I was doing 5 hours planks a night, from Monday to Friday. Monday to Thursday, Friday rest, and then Saturday and Sunday would be like a 6.5, 7 hour plank.
Okay, and how did it work in terms of recovery? Because I'm thinking half-an-hour plank the next day, your body must be gone.
You're buggered, but your body adapts to it.
Okay.
When your mind and body become one, it's like your body knows what to do because your mind's convinced about how to work, and then your body or your mind's convincing your body of how to work. Like they just sort of come together. I was that focused and determined to get this done where I wouldn't let my body fatigue. It was tired, but after a 5-hour plank at night, I'd finish at 10 o'clock at night. I know I've still had 100 push-ups to do, 100 sit-ups and 600 arm curls.
This is part of my routine for the plank or just general?
No, for the plank. For the plank. I didn't know what was enough and what wasn't enough. because
Yeah,
I
you
just
can't
had
just
no
take it all
one
into
told
it.
no one. It's not like it's like I can copy someone that's they've done this here to say, okay, well this worked for them. This is a blueprint on how to do it.
Yeah.
I just needed to do what I thought was enough,
Yeah.
you know, and then get up again at 4:30 the next morning to do it all again. You know, that was probably the hardest part to grasp, is after a full day of training in the morning,
Yeah.
going to work, training at lunch, working again till 5 o'clock, planking for 5 hours, and then doing another 10-20 minute session of push-ups and sit-ups,
Yeah.
and then getting up at 4:30 again the next morning to do it again. That was hard to.
Were you getting proper sleep and all like
Probably about
nutrition as well?
5-6 hours of sleep. I saw a couple of dietitians to teach me what to eat.
Yeah.
But, you know, if it wasn't broken, don't fix it. You know, I still had good energy levels. I still was I was just focused.
Yeah.
I just knew what I wanted to get done, and I knew I had a timeline to do it in.
Yeah. I think
It wasn't going to last forever. I wasn't going to die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you need to keep it simple. It's like you can survive, you can at least attempt it, you can do, you
Yeah.
can actually move forward.
Yeah.
And I think we don't understand how limited our thoughts really are.
You don't.
Yeah.
You know, I gave myself, remember this, so I started on January 28th, and I gave myself to December 20th to do it. I ended up hitting the record in my training with Michael there on May 15th. I hit 8 hours and 17 minutes.
Half the time.
Literally like February, March, April, May,
Yeah.
in 4 months.
That's it.
You know, and then the other 2 months, not even, the other month was just refining it, making sure my form was good,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. But if I gave myself that 12 months, then I would have probably hit that in September, you know,
Yeah.
October or whatever.
Yeah, that's fascinating. So let's take it to the day of the event.
Yep.
Because obviously all the training comes, you've done everything, you've ticked it all off, it's like, yeah, I'm ready for the day. But then now you know it's a mental battle, where it's like you actually have to accomplish it. You're going to be pushing yourself in the moment. You have to be present the whole time, no matter what.
Correct.
Because literally, once your knees touch the ground, it's
done.
finished. It's that simple.
So on the Wednesday, so I did the plank on the Friday. I always plan to do a plank on a Friday. Okay, on June 16th on the Friday. The Wednesday came and my stomach started to feel a little bit weird. I felt off. I didn't know what was happening. I thought maybe just a bit of nerves coming up. I remember going to Rebel Sport, buying a top because I needed a top for the day, for that Friday.
Yeah.
Something wasn't right. I was starting to sweat a little bit. Okay, so I went home. That was meant to be my last plank. You know, just do a couple of hour plank, and then Thursday nothing, and Friday's game day. I ended up going to bed about 5 o'clock that night, and woke up in the morning with cold shivers. And I think, oh no, something, I've caught something. I didn't know what it was. I knew it wasn't the virus because we didn't have the virus in Adelaide at that time, thankfully.
Yeah.
So I've caught a bug, and I was to and fro the toilet every half an hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the Thursday came, and I woke up still shivering, didn't know what was happening. My body was like, I was sick. I couldn't get out of bed. I ended up getting into a doctor, and he goes, Danny, you're dehydrated. My lips are blue, dehydrated. Couldn't put nothing in my body.
Yeah.
You know, I picked up a bug, whether it was a gastro bug or whatever it was, and he goes, you can't do the plank. Tomorrow is out of the question. Don't even go there. Because every half an hour, I was going to the bathroom. It was like clockwork. I said, but I have to. Like, you know, I've got videographers coming, my trainers are coming, gyms opened up their space for me, moved classes for me. Like, it was a full event. You know, a week planning, months of planning for this day.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I can't postpone it.
Exactly.
Because if you do postpone it, you're going to shit yourself. You know, like it was that bad. I said, no. So the day of the plank came, he gave me some medication to take to see if he can slow it down. May have helped, but I was still going quite frequently. The day of the plank came, I went to the toilet 5 times in the morning. So I started planking at 7:30 on the dot.
Yeah.
I went to the toilet 5 times prior. And when I got to the gym, my coach came to me, Michael, and he goes, you know, like I was in the toilet. He comes into the bathroom with the door closed. He goes, Danny, you've got 2 options. We can postpone it or you go for it. So we just go for it. So I walked back outside, didn't tell no one what was happening, and it was planked for bloody 9 hours and 15 minutes. But it was like anything, your body just switches off. I did not have any issue or any urges to go to the toilet.
So you didn't eat anything prior, I assume, because you go to toilets often.
I couldn't, but anything I put in my body would come straight out.
Yeah.
And this was like, now because of that, I couldn't put a lot of pressure on my core, okay? So whether it was bad training in the sense of my lower body was a little bit higher up, or I did that to sort of protect my core, I got 9 hours and 15 minutes or 11 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, people cheering, I made it, I can't believe this has happened, especially the last 2 days I've had, for the Guinness World Record to come back to me and tell me that I failed.
Yeah, oh my God.
That was tough.
Yeah. So
That was shit.
literally.
Yeah.
So I want to know also, like in the moment of doing the plank,
Yep.
I think I've seen you mention some techniques, mental techniques,
Yep.
about color change.
Yeah. So
Could you
with
explain that?
So put aside the stomach, I was going through pain. Okay, obviously my left arm felt like it was on fire, but my shoulders are burning.
Yeah.
Your knees start to burn because they're all locked up.
Not just core, yeah.
Everything, your core's burning, your feet are burning as well. Now you got to remember they're that technical, like you were saying before. As soon as you lift, in their rules, if you have any air from your wrist to your elbow, you're disqualified. If your foot comes off the floor, you're disqualified. If your hips are placed up, you're disqualified. Like I was, that's how I got disqualified because my hips weren't in the right position. I needed to take myself away from the pain. So I've worked out techniques through Michael where I'll visualize my body, see my body, and I'll see all the pain in the color red. Okay? And everywhere I see the red, I'll go 3, 2, 1, and that red will quickly change to a yellow. And that yellow is my relief.
Okay.
So all the pain will go away.
Yeah, and that was actually like efficient. It actually worked.
Definitely.
Wow.
Like that color change of me visualizing that pain disintegrating to a yellow color, which is a nice cooling sun effect, because I love the sun, I love summer. It took me away. It was amazing what my mind did to my body to take that pain away. Not to mention the pain will come back. Of course, I'll just do it again.
Okay, so it's just reoccurring.
Just reoccurring. I'll visualize myself as turning into an animal. So I'll be going through the jungle as an animal, I'll see my paws walking through, and all that would do is take away time. Yeah, because that would be another half an hour gone. So I'll be planting in my position in pain, but I'll be going through a jungle, walking up mountains, looking at things, feeling things underneath my paws, even though I was still planking.
I think some people don't realize like the importance of like distracting yourself in terms of like when you are going through that mental battle, because we know even as Muslims, like in Ramadan, we're fasting.
Yes.
We're not drinking or eating all day, and most of the time when the fast is like a lot easier when you're busy, you're occupied all day.
Exactly.
It's fascinating how the mind works.
And I take my hat off to you gentlemen for getting through that, because it's sacrifice. You're sacrificing. It's amazing. It's amazing, and it's amazing when you want to do something, how your body and your mind come together and saying, this is why I'm doing it, because you've got a purpose behind it. I'm a strong believer now of having a purpose. I would like to think my purpose is to help other people dealing with pain and getting through that personal battle, whether it be pain, anything really. If you want to achieve it and you think you can do it, well then you can do it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, and on that, so raising awareness, I know you're a big advocate on raising awareness for your condition as well, and for showing other people that you can do it.
Yeah.
Was this part of the reason why you wanted to do the plank?
That was the main reason.
Okay.
That was the main reason. Now,
beautiful.
I've always gone through life being told of what I can and can't do. Don't do this here because of your arm. Don't do this because of your arm. Got to a point now where I'm not going to let my arm tell me what I can do. I wanted to prove to people that not only could I plank for 9.5 hours, but I could plank for 9.5 hours with that arm. If you want to do it and believe you can do it, then you can do it. Don't let pain be the reason why you can't do things. Let it be fuel to the reason why you can do things.
Yeah, I think that's why people need to try things themselves, test things out.
Test the boundaries.
Whether it's fitness or not, just test things
the boundaries.
People have their own opinions, but then their opinions can be on the back of fear or other insecurities. Other things.
If people have their own opinions on you, for instance, then it's none of your business anyway. You know what I mean? If someone's got an opinion on something about themselves, that's their business. But if they've got an opinion on you, then it's none of your business. You know what I mean? You just do what you want to do and be you. Yeah,
it's so simple. Though we get sucked in as humans because we value that person in general, but then it's their opinion is irrelevant.
It's totally irrelevant. Yeah. And it's totally irrelevant. Look at it as if they're talking about you, well then they see you as superior to them.
That's true. Yeah,
so everyone's may have always something to say, and people stop themselves from worrying what other person's going to say next to them. But what's their opinion on you got to do with you? Don't stop being nosy.
Yeah, 100%. It shows people sometimes don't have much going on in their life, so then they just want to start intervening in yours or other people's.
That's correct.
So you've ticked this off, a plank, and congrats on that, by the way.
Thank you.
So then now you've got the world's longest plank, and then you move over to attempting
Push-ups.
as many push-ups in 1 hour? Is it?
So the current record sits at 3,054 in an hour.
I can't fathom that. That's just ridiculous. Yeah.
Now this is, once again, pushing myself further, my beliefs further than my thoughts.
Yeah.
This is totally different from my left arm now. You know, because
Yeah.
with a plank, you can get in that position, you go through that burning situation, and you can take yourself away, but you're still there. With push-ups, you have to be there each and every push. You know, you got to feel that burn, you got to feel that fatigue, you got to feel everything. This has been a little bit more challenging. Now, I've gone for it twice, and I've come short twice. You know, and I promise you, I won't stop till I get it. You know, so it's like you keep on. I know what I can get. I know what I can achieve to get.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of proving it that you can get it.
Okay, and how has the training changed or shifted?
Yeah, and it has. So I feel like because my training has been intense in the sense of like, you know, I'm pushing myself to my limit every single session. I'll pull back on that a little bit now, just to give myself a little bit more of a breather because it's not working as what it did with the plank. Because when you're planking, you're stationary, you're not moving.
Yeah.
When you push ups, you're constantly contracting your muscles, contracting, letting go, contracting. So your muscles need time to rest.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned the hard way.
Okay, this is great. So then, is this now you still have your mindset?
My mindset, definitely. He's been through the whole way.
Okay, and there's also another technique I wanted you to go over, tornado technique. Do you use this
all the time?
Okay.
All the time. All these techniques are a form of meditation. If you can control your mind and your thoughts and take yourself away and visualize nothing but a black space, that's meditating. So when you're in that black space, start to work with it. You know, I can sort of close my eyes and visualize a tornado happening inside my head and overtaking my body.
Okay.
Yeah, and that can consume my body. But what I want to do, what I really concentrate on is my left arm. So as I sit here now, if my left arm's aching, which it is, and if it's getting worse and worse, I'll visualize a tornado, a yellow tornado, forming in the side of my hand. And as that's forming, I'll start to feel tingles going from my hand, and that tornado getting bigger and bigger. So it's almost like it's swallowing my hand. And as it's swallowing my hand, it goes up to my forearm, up to my elbow, up to my shoulder. That's now gone away.
Yeah.
You know, that tornado's overtaken it. But you can do that anywhere. You know, if you feel you're stressed, you feel like you're feeling overwhelmed, take yourself to a quiet place, close your eyes, visualize a tornado forming in the center of your brain, and that pick your color. My color's yellow. You can pick whether it's blue, red, pink, black, whatever you want. Picture that tornado getting bigger and bigger, and it's just slowly consuming your brain. Then it's consuming your eyes, through your nose, through your mouth, and it's just getting bigger, and it's gone through your shoulders. So right now, from here to your shoulders, there's nothing. It's consumed in that tornado.
Wow.
And by doing that, you're taking yourself away from the stress.
Yeah, essentially just distracting your mind.
You're distracting your mind.
From what it
You're distracting
from that discomfort.
That's exactly right. So it may not be pain, it may be mental strain, it may be stress, it may be you had an argument. You know, like you just need that 5 minutes to take yourself away.
Yeah.
And I can promise you and guarantee you'll feel better after.
Yeah. It is vital. It is developing in the modern world, and that people are starting to recognize the importance of it in day-to-day life. I want to know, can you implement these techniques in just a regular gym session as well? Because I'm trying to relate for myself and the circles I'm with. Can you implement these techniques or similar ones in a normal session?
The tornado, I'll probably implement more so when you're in pain and all the rest of it. You know, I wouldn't give you it wouldn't necessarily give you the strength that you're looking. I'll probably implement a lot more of a breathing technique or visualization technique. So when I want to go, for instance, if I'm going to go plank for an hour, I'll visualize a number. Okay, so visualization, I'll see an hour in front of me, but I wouldn't just see a 1 hour written down. I'd visualize a clock, you know, the same clock I use on my phone. I'll see the counters, the little timer. I'll see that it's clear as daylight. So now I've already input that picture in my mind. So when I go and do it, I've already achieved it. You know, so if you're a bench presser, you're doing something at the gym, and you're going to go for a PB, visualize yourself as already achieving that PB. So that PB is already achieved in your mind. So all you're doing now is reenacting what you've already done.
Yeah, making it normal.
Making it normal. So I've done this before.
Yeah.
You've crossed the road 1,000 times over where you don't even have to properly look. You just look to the right, look to the left, and you cross because you've done it 1,000 times over.
Yeah.
So there's no difference of actually convincing your mind, because your mind doesn't know any different. There's no difference of convincing your mind that you've already done that PB once or twice before, and you're just doing it the third time over now.
And the more you normalize it, it's just there's always no pressure.
Ask, believe, receive. You know, you just got to do it as you've done it before, even though you haven't done it, but your mind doesn't know you haven't done it.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Like, I can't believe how limited we can think.
You're governed by your mind. You're governed by yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, like David Goggins says, your mind's got a governor in there. You know, it's like a governor you put on your motorbike sort of thing, not to go 80k as opposed to 60. But if you take that governor off, you won't believe how far you can go.
What's your thoughts on David Goggins? Do you think you could do Hell Week?
I've read a lot about him and heard a lot about him. One thing I've learned about David Goggins is never is never, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, like no matter what people say or no matter what your body or yourself say, you know, if you want to do it and you can think you can do it, you will find every way possible to get it done. You know, he was a time where his knees and legs were going to fail and break down. He had to break into his superior's office to get pain medication. He found a way to get it done. You know what I mean? Like your body and your mind and your self-conscious mind will find a way to just get it done before you fail, if you want to do it. You know, could I survive the whole week? Until I do, I don't know. You know?
Yeah. It's hard to tell once you rock up and see what happens. So I want to know, hopefully, actually, first of all, I hope to see you complete the push-up challenge.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We'll be keeping in touch and seeing how you're going with that. I want to know, like, just in general, holistic view, why do you do this? Why do you want to, you know, do the world plank? Why do you want to do a push-up? And I'm assuming once you do it, because you will, I know you will.
Thank you.
You move it to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Push my thoughts further than my beliefs.
Pushing your thoughts more than beliefs.
Yeah, further than my beliefs. If you know, I just want to know, I want to see how far I can go. I want to see, not how far I can go, but see, you know, if I want to achieve something and I believe I can do it, well then do it. You know, if I can do it, then you can do it. Then that person that wasn't able to or thought they couldn't do something, might give them the motivation to get up and actually get it done as well. You know.
Yeah, I love to see this because a lot of us can even see like the most simple excuse we can say, oh, my family genetics, I can't do that.
That's bullshit.
I can't do this sport.
Exactly.
It's like you're just limiting yourself from just as simple as your thoughts.
Yeah.
Whereas you just don't know what's on the other side.
Like everyone always says, all these superstars, hard work always beats talent. You know, put in the work and you get the result. Put in the work, you get the result. If you don't put that work in, you're not going to get the result. And that doesn't mean getting up at 7 o'clock and, you know, then going, no, you get up at 4:30. You know, you get up earlier before everyone else. You do the extra session. You know, so then when everyone's having breakfast, you've already trained for an hour, so now you're going to go and have your breakfast.
Yeah, you're beating them as well.
You're literally doing the extra 1% or 2%. Instead of doing 10 push-ups, you're doing 11. But telling your mind you've only done 10.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's the difference.
Okay, so we're going to finish it off with some quick fire questions.
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully it's a quick answer. If not, I'd like to hear your opinion either way. So CrossFit training in general, would you say yes or no? Would you recommend it?
I like HIIT training, high intensity, sort of off on sort of 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off.
Yeah.
I think that benefits. Well, I mean, everybody different type, but for me, I find that hard-paced 45-minute session off and on works best for me.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, but everyone's different. People might like a little bit of a slower pace. I think CrossFit is more slow and heavy lifting. Is that correct?
It's similar to yours though.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's interval training and then there's always like lifting, but then there's also aerobics.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, for me, like a HIIT training, you know, I go to a place called JC Fit. It's just cardio core and they've got weights as well, but the cardio core sessions for me get me, you know, because you're in there, you've got 45 minutes to go as hard as you can, on for 45 seconds, off for 15 seconds, you know, and you've got about 20 different exercises and you're buggered after. You know, there's no reason why you can't go there, burn 700 calories, pour out 2 kilos of sweat. Yeah.
Okay. So
but everyone's different once again.
Of course, yeah. I guess you got to try it and see from there. Okay, so PTs, so personal trainers, would you say underrated or overrated?
The good ones are good.
Yeah, so
the good ones are good. I think they're probably underrated. You know, if you find a good personal trainer that's what do you call it? Passionate about helping you and getting your goal, then you set for success.
Yeah, it's a mixed opinions these days, especially because there's a lot of people starting their own YouTube channels of fitness, and then they're giving the opinion of PTs just want your money, and then it's not really.
But it's like anything, you know. You just got to filter through the shit. You got to filter through the good and filter through the bad. You might get unfortunate and get a shit one, but you quickly learn within a few sessions if you're not feeling it. You know, you can't really say the minority ruin it for the majority, because I do think a lot of people out there do want good for people. Yeah. You know?
That's true, yeah. Okay. So
it's like if you're a family member of the PT, I wouldn't like it if someone says PT is shit, because I know my brother, if he's a PT, would want to help people get good.
Of course, because you know his intentions behind his work as well.
Exactly.
So, what would you consider the most important aspect for recovery?
Rest.
But like specifically, would you like sleep, nutrition?
I think ice baths are good.
Okay.
Jump in an ice bath, start off with the ice bath, learn how to breathe properly as well.
Yeah.
And then obviously sleep and recovery is good. Nutrition is something where I think it's underrated in the sense of people don't do it right.
Yeah.
Because they just may not know. And I'm guilty for that.
Yeah.
I'm sort of stuck my way. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But I also don't know how much more potential I've got. Because I haven't really started it properly.
Yeah, that's more of a journey where you just got to sometimes do your own research.
It's literally trial and
There's
error.
all these different opinions of what diet suits, or depending on your training, there's a lot of variables.
And what works for you may not work for me.
Yeah,
And and it's vice versa. So it's like, you hear people swear black and blue with these fad shake things. But it's like you've also heard of other people saying they're bullshit as well. So
it's all trial and error, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so the last one, I think you did answer it before, but then we can probably clarify it. If you could choose one quote to put on a billboard, what would it be?
I've said a couple. Don't let pain determine the person you are. Let it be fuel to the person that you know you can be.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to frame that. That's a good one, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, I appreciate you coming on.
And you're a gentleman. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We really appreciate it. We've only been here for a few days in Adelaide. We reached out to you and you thankfully let us use your workplace.
No, I can't thank you guys enough for coming out and reaching out to me. I'm forever grateful. And without you guys and letting me share my story, it would be unheard. So I appreciate it. You guys are doing a great job.
No worries. Thank you.
Keep up doing it.
Thank you guys. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.